of Lomax, and this is my show, Strangest Films, where I talk about the most unique, interesting, kind of strange, weirdo movies out there. And this one is quite unique because it's from a local filmmaker. And when I say local, I mean from here in Las Vegas, Nevada, where I call my home. It's a film written by Tim Chismar, who's my friendly acquaintance. So I've kind of put off this review for a while. I have reviewed one of his other movies, The Noodles of Nudeland. So for me, there's the slight conflict of interest in reviewing a friendly acquaintance's artistic endeavor, but I'm a YouTuber, I'm fairly unknown. I actually feel like, why not have a little conflict of interest? So I'm putting that out there just to be perfectly honest. I think truth is the key to critiquing film. The movie that I'm actually reviewing is called Hell is Coming for You. And it's an action, drama, comedy. I call it everything but the kitchen sink. It really it's multifaceted in many, many different genres, seemingly. So it has a little bit of everything. It's an action film, which is a genre I typically don't dip my toe into. Like, I was never into Stallone or Van Damme or Steven Seagal. I could fuck with some Arnold Schwarzenegger, maybe Brian De Palma films or Paul Verhoeven, things that had a lot of the action qualities but still were subverting the genre in a way. And those two filmmakers certainly influenced Quentin Tarantino, who when Tim was very first telling me about this movie, he told me he pitched it as like a Tarantino-esque action thriller. Hell is Coming for You was written by Tim Chismar, Dylan Dilligaff, both stars of the film, and Mark Savage, who also directed the film. There's so many genre elements: action, horror, drama, comedy, stand-up comedy, I'll get to that, and professional wrestling subculture, and also that kind of indie movie, irreverent, kind of middle finger to cinema status quo. Hell is Coming for You is the first movie ever made about a disabled action hero played by a real disabled hero. It centers around a bounty hunter seemingly trying to assimilate in suburbia, but past wrongs and new vendettas create a bloodbath everywhere he goes. And he gets around on those wheels pretty quick. To me, the most beautiful and interesting moment in the film comes at the very opening, when an amphibious car that looks like it was plucked out of a 50s diner slowly comes out of the middle of a lake to the shore to assassinate our hero, leaving him for dead and killing his wife and child, setting the whole tone for this revenge flick. Years go by and he finally uncovers who is responsible for his paralysis and the death of his wife and child. This wages a war. Our unlikely hero is pitted against a slew of misfit killers. His enemies list is quite interesting. There's a very freakish vibe to many of these people, and I kept wishing the film would go even further in their character development. The characters almost had enough freak show to sink our teeth into, but it wasn't quite there. It was grotesque, but I kept wanting more. I love, by the way, Tim Chismar. I love his look in this movie. It's excellent. He's kind of got this Tony Montana at the Big and Tall store white suit with bleach blonde, he said Billy Idol, peroxided hair, which I told him he should wear that all the time. I know it's not good for your hair, but I think he looks really good. I think it's quite the look. There is this ongoing joke in the film about a mischievous neighbor boy. His mother is victimized constantly by her abusive husband, and when this toxic relationship is discovered by our unlikely hero, he's taken care of, so to speak. The relief and nonchalant manner felt the next day when her husband disappears, I thought was kind of funny, maybe intentionally or unintentionally. Many lurid things happening in Hell is Coming for You, but it seemingly comes to a halt when our assassin slash disabled hero, bounty hunter, makes time for his hobby, stand-up comedy. The film takes us inside a comedy club. At first I thought our hero was just going to watch a few sets, but he actually gets up on the stage and performs his own. None of the jokes to me were very funny, but just the audacious nature of the placement of these scenes was completely superfluous to me, to forwarding the plot. But you know what? Who cares? I think one thing this movie does have going for it is that it doesn't take itself too seriously. You're along for the journey. I think as soon as the film starts pretty much what you're in for. My real critique of this film is that we have all of these interesting villains. We're surrounded by villains. We have so many, and he's supposed to eliminate them, and they're quite interesting. But once you start to get interested, they're usually dead, and we're moving on. There's almost too many characters. I wish that they had honed the creative juices on 1, 2, maybe 3 villains so that we could really get more of an emotional and intellectual attachment to them. I think all great villains, when you're watching it, even though you're rooting for our hero, you still like the villain to a degree. There's something sort of appealing and romanticized about being bad. One of the most interesting actors in Hell was Tanya Todd, who plays the abused wife. Once her husband disappears at the hands of our wheelchair-bound hero, she seemingly is able to relax for a moment before getting wrapped up in more violent shenanigans. Beautiful, very sensuous. She's the beating heart of this movie. And although imperfect in some of her nuances, there's an incredible potential. Her shock of jet curls, her full mouth, her ethnic ambiguity, she definitely has that now look. And I look forward to seeing her in other works. I met her briefly, and she's even more striking in person. And at first she did not believe me when I told her I'd seen Hell is Coming for You. I think she thought her friends were putting me up to it or something. And she was really kind. Once she realized, once she knew that I was actually being authentic, she was so nice and really pleasant. One of my other favorite moments in this movie were the wrestling scenes. It becomes a little WrestleMania, which I'm so here for. You get the guys in the masks and everything. And wrestling is so weird to me for a number of reasons. It's like, you know, you're watching people do stunts, and the pageantry of it, it's almost the drag of masculinity, which I don't think I'm the only person to ever kind of analyze wrestling as that, but it's so performative, so hyper masculine, it's erotic, and they're doing stunts. That's a lot of the same kind of, in a way, reasons why people go to a drag show. But I was here for the wrestling, and frankly wish that there were more that the wrestlers were more integral to the entire movie. Like, I wish it was almost like that. Tim, write a wrestling movie where it's just about wrestlers. Like, seriously, I think that would be incredible. There's a detached feeling to the plot structure, and what I mean is what I said earlier about how that's everything but the kitchen sink, but it's not a bad thing. This is an incredible thing for people who have bad attention spans. Hell is never boring. It moves along swiftly with a tapestry of violence. I feel like I'm bearing witness to the infantile stages of some really potent careers in acting and filmmaking, and I can't wait to see more from Tim Chismar and Tanya Todd, among others. Hell is Coming for You is available to rent or buy on YouTube, Google Play, Amazon. Tim said something about it coming to Tubi and other streaming services. Support independent films is my message here. Tim Chismar is such an inspiration to me. I reviewed and recommended his other film, The Noodles of Nudeland, which is a very radical comedy about the world of nudism, and is kind of a first, maybe, in its sort of modern nudist camp. Ooh, don't say that. They say resort. Don't say camp. It's a nudist resort expose comedy camp extravaganza. It's great. I really do look up to Tim just because he lives in Las Vegas. He makes his own way. He makes his own films. He makes his own art, and you know, is published person. So very aspirational. He's such a go-getter. I don't know. I don't think I'm quite like that, but I want to be. And one time I was talking to him and I said, you know, if I ever make a film, and he was like, no, when you make a film. He shut down my kind of, you know, second guessing myself, and just hearing somebody, you know, believe in me was, you know, that's beautiful. I'm not saying that never happens, but just, you know, he doesn't know me very well, so it's like, just to have somebody that I didn't know very well say that they believe in my kind of aspiration and my artistic endeavor is very nice, very beautiful. So I recently made a short film called Sahara, and it's on YouTube. I'll put the link in the description, as well as a link for my video on the Noodles of Nudeland and probably links to where you can find Hell is Coming for You. But when I finished making Sahara, I sent, him the link and I said, like, even if you never watch it, which he did, I just want you to know that you're integral to me making this short film and me kind of going forward and wanting to make independent films. And so as of now, I'm going to make a feature, and my girlfriend and I we have things in the works right now that we're trying to do, but we want to make some kind of lurid giallo about Las Vegas, so that should be coming in the next year or so. But Las Vegas, who knows? I think it's going to become this film hub of independent film. I think there's so many great, locations here. There's so many people that are interested in show business and acting and performing and singing and dancing that there's just a lot of raw talent here and a lot of things that haven't been discovered yet but will be. So my name's Jacob Lomax. Please like and subscribe, as they say, as the children say nowadays. And yeah, thank you for watching Strangest Films. And yeah, mwah, I love you guys. I'm Jacob Lomax. Thank you for watching Strangest Films.